With my middleweight division, you hear that, Gegard? My middleweight division flying around all over the place. We called in 4th-ranked 185-pounder to help sort this out. Gegard, thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Thank you.
You know, Gegard, your last fight was actually the last fight on your contract. What's taking the contract negotiation so long?
Well, we want to sign with the UFC, so UFC wants to sign also, so I don't know. They should pay.
Yep.
They should pay?
That's what you're waiting for, is the numbers. You want...
Yeah, definitely. You know, I hear it's all about... I don't know, I'm co-main event all the time, so it's not like people don't know me, so...
Right.
So there has been a contract offer. You've just got to sign.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
It's not
we
good.
don't like it.
All right. Well, here's another bit of good, bad news for you.
Yeah.
I know you want to fight for the title, but they're doing an interim title shot. Are you aware of this?
Yeah, I heard Whitaker is above me. I don't know. I thought I was ranked higher above him, but he's skipping 3, and every time I win, I go 1 above.
What if I was to say that he knocked out the guy that choked you out in Jack?
No problem. You know, I'm a different guy. Things change very fast.
Now,
I think USADA time is different times. Yeah. I think I showed with USADA what happened.
Well, you've been trashing the middleweight division a lot, myself included. And, you know, like, when I was trying to fight for the title, and I've been in the UFC for 11 years, and when I lost some key fights, I took that on the chin. I didn't blame the UFC. I didn't blame other fighters. And you lost a couple of key matchups, but yet you feel the need to talk smack about me, to talk smack about the UFC. Why not just say, you know what, I lost that fight, I'll focus on winning some more fights?
You know, it's my character. I like to complain.
Well, you never used to.
And, you know, what can I say? You know, I have a long career. I think I earned my shot already.
But you did get knocked out against Uriah Hall.
You know, that was fluke. You said it yourself,
I know, but
I watched that one.
Hey.
Yeah.
But it did happen.
It happens every time, you know, the best fighter doesn't always win.
Correct, Armando.
It happened with you and Luke Rockhold.
Exactly. But revenge was sweet. Revenge was sweet. Left Hook Larry showed up on that one.
Well, Gegard, you know, on the Fight Society podcast, you said, talking about the middleweights, they're all evenly matched and can beat each other. Michael Bisping is the weakest, and he's the champion, but he will be done soon. That's one thing for sure. So, Gegard, why do you feel that way?
He's definitely tough. Michael is tough in the cage, but outside, you know, he's a picky cherry about picking his opponents.
Ain't picking a cherry. You just said you won't sign your UFC contract, buddy boy. Right? I'm just trying to make money. I'm trying to fight GSP.
Good for you. You know,
GSP
I don't
offered me
blame
the
you.
fight. GSP offered me the fight. You won't even sign a contract.
Yeah,
You're
but
saying
before
I'm picking my fights.
Before
you
that
won't
was
even
Dan
sign a
Henderson.
contract.
Before
You're
that
not
was
even
Dan
with the
Henderson.
UFC right now.
Huh?
You're not even with the UFC right now.
No problem. That's good for you, baby.
Everything's good for me. Life is great.
Yeah.
I'm sitting pretty right here, buddy.
Good, good.
All right, you said you should be making more money in the UFC.
Yes.
Why?
I think I earned it by now. I think it's, if you're one of the best fighters, you should get paid. You know, like I said, sometimes it's about nationality. Sage Norcott, I just heard, is making 75, and the guy is, what, a beginner. So don't tell me it's a fair sport. It has to be something with rankings. It has to do with, if you're one of the best, you should get paid as one of the best. So I'm up there. I fought 10 years, more than, so I think I earned my, what I should get. So.
You make a great point. I mean, who would you want to fight next? If you have your chance.
At this moment, there's only one guy left, so it's Luke Rockhold. So, and that's the fight UFC wants to make. So I'm open for it. It's a good fight for me.
And as long as you can get the deal done. And by the way, listen, I think you deserve to be compensated very well. I do, Gegard. Everything aside, listen, we've always had a good relationship. I've got a lot of respect for you. We're just having a bit of fun here on UFC tonight.
I know.
So, providing you get the right deal, that's going to be the next fight for you?
I think so. But it's taking a long time now.
Is that Luke taking his time? Is he signed his side?
Well, Luke is injured. I don't know if the guy's going to get... He did some cell rehab something, but if your ACL is torn, you know, I don't want to train for a guy who's going to get injured again. But hopefully he's recovered, and that's a fight I think fans would also like.
With regards to negotiation with the UFC, is there a timeline where it needs to be signed by a certain time? Or
I have 1.5 months left, then I can go and talk to other people.
So you have a month and a half.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you can... Gotcha.
Yeah.
So this weekend, you were at the UFC Athlete Retreat.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about that? You have fun?
Oh, it was fun. But then, like, Kobe Bryant comes. He talks about investing $100 million. You know, and then you have fighters sitting there who's making 10 plus 10. So it didn't make any sense.
Well,
other than that, it was great. They treated us very well.
Snoop Dogg
I don't
was
want to
there.
only bash it. It was great, actually.
Yeah.
They took care of also the fighters. It was a good welcome for the fighters and hopefully a good start.
You're saying you don't have hundreds of millions to invest, for the record?
I invested my money. I'm safe. I have no worries.
I just don't know. I don't know what to think or where to go or who to call, honestly. In October, they offered me GSP. I said yes. It didn't come to fruition. February, I get a phone call. Mike, it's Dana White. He says, Mike, GSP fight's on. Congratulations. We do a press conference. Of course, here we are. Once again, they're saying the fight is off. I spoke to George. George is saying he still wants to do it. I still want to do it. Now, of course, the UFC, they make the fights. It's their company. So, you know, they know something about it. And if they're saying that the fight's off, there's a pretty distinct possibility that the fight is off. But as far as I'm concerned, we did have a deal. So we'll see. I mean, I've got to have a talk with Dana White about it. You know, as I say, looks like the fight is off. But if it is, so be it. I'll move on. Of course, these guys behind me, Whittaker and Romero, they're going to fight for a participation trophy later in the year. And
would you fight the winner of that matchup?
Yeah, of course I would. Listen, that's what I do. I'm the champion. I have to fight these guys. I think that's a great fight. I think Romero's a solid competitor, regardless of what I think of him personally. Robert Whittaker, I've got no problem with this guy. Excellent fighter, excellent human being. May the best man win. And if the GSP fight doesn't happen, which it's looking like it's not, then of course I'll fight the winner of that fight.
With so many careers moving in so many directions, this is the perfect time to play a little stock up, stock down. Let's get started right here. Former lightweight champ Frankie Edgar's stock has definitely shot up. He's won 7 of his last 8, falling only to featherweight champ Jose Aldo. He did derail the hype train around Yair Rodriguez at UFC 211, and he seems to be on the cusp of yet another title shot in the near future, Kim.
Yeah, I mean, this is the stock up. I mean, Frankie Edgar it has been on fire. And, you know, it's interesting because if there's a guy who is on a tremendous win streak or one of the guys that everyone's talking about in the featherweight division, you feed him to Frankie and Frankie will chew him up and spit him out. Frankie, absolutely, his stock is up.
Yeah, it's like GSP would say, it's like the stock market, and his stock right now is the highest. Yeah, listen, Frankie Edgar, man, he's been around forever, and he's beating everybody not named Jose Aldo. Yeah. And once again, he's right in line for a title.
Hall of Famer.
He looked amazing in his last fight. Well, in other news, how the mighty have fallen. Former pound-for-pound great Anderson Silva is 1-4 with 1 no contest in his last 6 bouts. He served a suspension following a failed drug test. His only win was a close decision over Derek Brunson at UFC 208. Michael Bisping can't help to think that you may have had a little bit of a hand in the fall from grace.
Listen, I don't want to downplay the abilities of people that I've beaten, because I tell you what, when I was in there, he didn't feel like his stock had gone down that much when he front kicked me in the face and opened me up for the masses to see my insides. But listen, he's struggling. His last fight against Derek Brunson, he won, but honestly, I thought Brunson got that decision. He didn't show up. He didn't pay his opponent the correct respect, and he won that decision by the skin of his teeth. And now he's making demands to the UFC, which I don't believe he's in a position to make these demands. He's acting like a diva, and he just hasn't got that clout anymore.
It's simple. Michael Bisping is bad luck. You don't want to fight Michael Bisping right now. He touches you, and you're just going to fall. That's it. Your stock's going to be down. But, you know, the reality is Anderson Silva, he's getting older now. And, you know, he has had some very tough matchups. His stock is down, but I think he's been around the sport for a long time. He's getting older, and I think that's just going to happen when you've been around the sport for this long, and, you know, he's in his 40s now.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to Francis Ngannou. He's kind of set to be the next big thing in more ways than one. The heavyweight has won 9 fights in a row, all of them stoppages, all of them before the 3rd round. He's currently ranked 5th, and it seems that a title shot flow may be in his near future.
Well, this guy Ngannou, he's an absolute monster. I mean, so much talent, so much power, and so much speed for a heavyweight. I think this is a guy who definitely can go all the way and become a champion in the future. I just don't want to see him get pushed so quickly. But is his stock up? 100%. He's doing so well. Now he's going to be training in South Florida. He's only going to get better. If you're going to fight him, heavyweights, fight him now.
Yeah, listen, at UFC 209, me and my son Callum, we actually sat in his seat. And he came over and said, you are in my seat, or something like that. And I was like, whoa. Everything about Francis Ngannou is up. He's a big dude. Every single one of his fights has been a stoppage, either a knockout or a submission. this guy's going to go all the way.
The cool thing about him, too, is he's still sort of raw material in a way, right? I mean, he still has so much to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you get Michael Bisping out of your chair, that's how you know you're big and intimidating.
All right, well, Travis Brown's stock has gone up and down like a roller coaster in the last few years. He did seem to be only one win away from a title shot in 2014, but since then, the heavyweight lost 5 of his last 7. He did lose the last 3 in a row, Kenny, so right now, not great for Travis.
Well, yeah, you know, he has been inconsistent, hasn't he? This is a guy who definitely has a lot of talent. We've seen him kind of jump back and forth with camps, and I think he really just needs to find out what training works best for him. And yes, he's been inconsistent. Yes, his stock is down right now, but I think this is a guy who, if he can get it together, can get back on track.
It's just such a crazy game, the fight game. I remember not long ago, he was beating Alistair Overeem. He beat Josh Barnett, and it did seem like he was the next heavyweight contender. Now here we are, we're saying that his stock's down. But the thing is, it only takes one good win, and you're back in that discussion again.
Especially at heavyweight.
Yeah, well, exactly. So, yeah, right now, of course, his stock is down. He's on a 3-fight losing streak, but it ain't over till it's over.
Absolutely not. We do actually have some breaking news about Travis Brown. It's certainly not over because he can get back on the winning track when he faces Alexei Oleinik at UFC 213. So good fight right there. Now, finally, guys, Kevin Lee is sort of the surprise stock pick of 2017. He's 8-2 in the loaded lightweight division. He will appear in his first UFC main event on FS1 against Michael Chiesa at FS1 UFC Fight Night on June 25th. And he turned a lot of heads with his mouth and, of course, the outfit, the $3,000 glasses, Kenny.
Yes.
At the summer press conference. Mike, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, I love what he's doing right now. I absolutely love it. I was in England for that press conference, but I didn't get to see it. But all I've heard about is, you know, him stealing the show. Kevin Lee this, Kevin Lee that. His stock is high. He's on a 4-fight win streak. Keep doing what you're doing, Kev.
Yeah, we're talking about Kevin Lee, and he's in, you know, probably the most difficult division in the UFC, in the lightweight division. And for us to be talking about him, I think says a lot. This is a guy who has been fighting extremely well. He's been very consistent, and at a couple of his last fights, he really impressed me with his heart. So I think he definitely is the real deal. He has a lot of potential. I'm very interested to see how he does.